Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Franchise Interviews. For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Tony Brea, the co-founder of 1-800-FIX.com. And the mission of 1-800-FIX.com is to become the #1 alternative secondary technology market service and sales provider. 1-800-FIX.com provides consumers with a superior alternative channel for smartphone and technology, electronics repair, sales, trade-in, and must-have accessories, making the latest technology both attainable and affordable for everyone to own and maintain. We'll talk to Tony about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing: helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities, or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 7 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Tony Brea, the co-founder of 1-800-FIX.com. And the mission of 1-800-FIX.com is to become the #1 alternative secondary technology market service and sales provider. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Marty, thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Tony. It's great to have you on the show. We always like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Tony?
Well, this morning I'm calling from what's soon to be a snowy Westchester County, New York. So we're getting ready for the big storm.
I see. We're not that far from you. We're in Pennsylvania. We're in eastern Pennsylvania, and actually the snow hit here, and it's really cold. So normally I'll ask everyone, how the weather is there today, but I think I have that idea. My father is actually from the Bronx, and I have a lot of family in the Bronx, actually Morris Park Avenue. So when I heard that, some of the beginnings of the origins actually began in that particular part of the country, I said I have to have you guys on this show. So it's really fantastic. Maybe you could talk a little bit, about the history of 1-800-FIX.com, Tony.
Well, we're three brothers, all growing up and going our separate ways in life, and then one day we came together. I was fixing beepers. I had just left the Army.
Wow.
Okay, and I had odd jobs and driving school. I had a bunch of businesses. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And one day we just all got together. One of my brothers was a stockbroker, and the other one an accountant. Okay. So we said, you know what? Why don't we just, we see what Tony's doing. Why don't we get together and expand that?
Right.
And they kind of got the bug, the entrepreneurial bug, which came from my parents. They've always been entrepreneurs.
Right.
And we just took off from there. We started with the beepers, then the phones came out. We started doing phones. It was always communications.
Right.
And
something about that industry. Interesting.
Right. When I was in the Army, I was in communications, so that's what got me really interested in.
I see. Right.
What they call commo in the Army, communications, radio. So, it started off innocently enough. Cell phone stores started popping up, so we got into the cell phone business. And then I've always wanted to be one step ahead.
Right.
Whenever I see that the industry is getting inundated with sameness, I try to stick my finger in the air and see which way the wind's blowing. And I told my partners, let's get into repairs. They thought I was nuts. Let's fix these phones. Let's fix computers. Let's fix game systems, which is up and coming.
Sure. Absolutely.
I got to the point where we were fixing just about everything. It was almost a challenge for us.
Wow.
And I had one lady come in that wanted to fix a toaster. I said, "Lady, that's where we draw the line. We don't fix toasters." She said, "Oh, please, my husband gave it to me. He passed away."
Oh.
And I said, "You know what? I'll make the exception here. I'll take a look at it, and I'm not even going to charge you." Half an hour later, I smell smoke coming out from the back room.
Oh, no.
Sure enough, it was the toaster. So, our slogan is we fix everything. Cell phones, laptops, computers, everything except toasters. And we say
that
with
is
a straight
fantastic.
face.
I love the commercial, by the way. By the way, I've seen the commercial, Tony. I don't always get to see the commercials for the guests that we have on the show because it's a national show. But I did see your commercial for 1-800-FIX.com, and I thought it was very clever. As a marketing professor, I said you guys did a great job on that commercial, particularly adding the whole toaster thing into it. It's interesting how one little incident like that with the woman coming with the toaster, it almost became part of your personality, or your tagline for the business, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. It really has. It adds a little bit of not at the time I wasn't laughing, but you laugh afterwards.
Exactly.
And it kind of breaks the ice with people. It brings something to the business that I've always wanted, humanness, which in this technological world that I'm in right now, everything is so canned and everything is so, I want that little neighborhood store where you can come in and ask the guy behind the counter, listen, my voicemail's not working. Can you help me with this?
Sure.
Okay. Or you know what? I don't want to, I want to trade my phone up. What do you think? And the guy's name behind the counter. Okay.
Exactly.
I'm looking for neighborhood stores.
Right.
Small stores, not a lot of rent. Okay. We're not, I mean, if it weren't for us, you'd really be at the mercy of like a Best Buy. Okay?
Sure. Exactly.
Where it's very, where it's very impersonal. I mean, you go in there and, you try to get something done, and it's tough, and you're on your own. You're on your own. Okay, here I tell my customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's sad because, we're losing that humanness, which I think is a magic to what we do. As technological as we are, we add a human face to this. Is what I'm trying to bring across in these stores.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I think from what part of the country you come from, is having that small business, where you could go in, and I've had this conversation with my students today, and it is lacking, isn't it? And it's sad in a way, that we've lost that because I think we didn't appreciate it sometimes until we didn't have it anymore, and I think a lot of people want that back, that human elements, particularly, when it comes to, technology and things like that, because it's just become so important today, hasn't it?
It really has. It really has. It's, I keep thinking that as we go on, we're literally on one line. You pull that line, our whole world comes
exactly.
crashing. Because once you have no power, before it was like, oh, no power, no TV. Before. So now it's no power. Are you kidding me? No internet.
Exactly.
So what do you do?
Exactly. It's so true. It's so true. It's when you're ever in that situation, you really have that appreciation for the technology, so it is very interesting. We're speaking with Tony Brea, the co-founder of 1-800-FIX.com. And how do you typically describe the franchise and pretty much your services, Tony? I was at a franchise show last year, and you would know this place, the Jacob Javits, and I took my wife there for the first time for a very first franchise show. And it seems like when a lot of people, they come up to the booth, aspiring entrepreneurs, that they'll say, so what do you guys do? So what do you guys do? How do you typically respond to the question?
Well, we basically we fix, buy, sell, trade consumer electronics.
Right.
It took me a while to come up with that. Yeah, except toasters, right? Exactly. So that kind of tells you in a nutshell what we do. We fix, okay. We buy. If you don't want your phone anymore, everybody's got one or two phones sitting in a drawer. Bring it in.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
You want to fix your iPhone? Okay. You know what? Bring in that iPhone. We'll lower the price on what you bring in. We're very easy.
Yeah.
We try to make it happen. Like that's another thing that we say in the stores. Make it happen. Make the customer, feel like they can get something done that they can't get anywhere else.
Sure, absolutely.
And you know what? We love to do that. I mean, the guys behind the counter, if it weren't for them, they are the magic in this. And for the most part, these guys step up. And I'm surprised sometimes with some of the things they come up with. If you do this and you bring me this and you have this, and then it's a win-win for the customer and for us.
Yeah, it is a win-win, absolutely.
Because we also trade. Listen, you need a case for that. You know what? So we'll work something out at the end of the day. It's not so cut and dry. This is the price and this is what you got to pay. We'll work with the customer. We really will.
Absolutely. It is fascinating. I was going to say, how has technology played a role in this business, Tony? Being that you work in that particular arena, how has technology played a role in your business?
Well, in technology, in a sense that, as far as running the business, you mean?
Yeah, as far as running the business, I guess this type of business today, where you have like a retailer or a service type of business, if you went back 20 years ago, I guess it would be different, wouldn't it? So, how are you guys using technology?
Well, we are leveraging technology. Mm-hmm. Leveraging, I think is a key word there.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to not have so many people in one store. We used to have two people in one store.
Yeah. Good
now
point.
we're our store is typically one person, one gal, one guy behind the counter.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do that by using a state-of-the-art POS system.
Okay.
And we also have a portal where all our information is disseminated.
Okay, it's amazing, Tony. Yeah, when I hear stories like that, how one person is actually able to run a whole store today. And we've had other concepts on the show, over the 7 years, and I'm always amazed that, that has been a big impact with technologies. I mean, in some cases, we've had some guests on the show that one person running a whole hotel. All because of technology.
Right.
I say, how did that happen? You're right, because of technology.
It's scary because it's like the other day I went into my Home Depot which I hate to go to. Right? I like my local Ace guy.
Sure,
okay?
Absolutely.
But I had to go at 6 in the morning, and I come in. A machine gives me a ticket. I walk in. A machine opens the door, and
right.
I'm roaming around. I don't see anybody, and I check out with a machine, and I never came across a human person. And
it's crazy.
Technology is great, but at the same time, unfortunately, it is taking away, I think, jobs. But
I agree.
It is what it is. And we have to compete. But we've managed to, get it down to one person in one store.
That's amazing.
And they do a lot.
Yeah.
That one person.
That's great. Are there any numbers on this industry? I mean, it's one of the things that intrigue me about your franchise too is the industry as well. I mean, it does appear to be growing every single year. But are there any numbers on this particular industry?
Well, from what I saw last, it's a $1 billion industry and growing fast.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah.
Okay, we started in the beginning. We were actually one of the first ones to start, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. I think there is that opportunity for a company like ours to come in and fill that niche, because really there's nobody there. There really is nobody there.
Yeah, it's true. There's not a lot out there. Yeah, particularly in franchising too, as well, Tony. Which was another thing. There was a lot of things that intrigued me, about your franchise. But in the world of franchising as well, there's not a lot of really even concepts out there taking this idea and franchising. Did you know? I mean, at an early point that you wanted to franchise the concept, or at some point did you just say, you know what, I think we have something that can be duplicated in other parts of the country?
Well, yeah, years ago we wanted to find somebody that had the same idea we had, and we wanted to join them. We didn't. We never wanted to open a franchise. We're not about center stage. We wanted to be part of something big. Right. But as we looked around, we really couldn't find anything. Anybody out there doing what we thought should be done. We saw a few concepts, early concepts, but it was very limited. We wanted the all-in-one store. We hate to say no to a customer. We'll tell a customer, you know what? If you go here, you can. We don't have it here. We'll send them somewhere else. But so most of these, the few concepts that were out there, were strictly focused on fixing a certain type of phone, which we didn't want to limit ourselves to that, because what happens if something changes in that phone and you can't fix it anymore?
Sure, absolutely.
So we wanted something that was, going to have some growth and legs and can mature. Right. And we're always looking for new income streams all the time. So it's not just fix, buy, sell, trade. Like right now we're talking about online backup for our company, where we can sell the consumer a card that says, look, for $50, you have online backup on the computer that you just brought me in. So in case it crashes, you're still backed up. So that's just an example of what we're doing. We're constantly looking for what the customer needs, is asking for. If we see them asking for something a lot, we start to look into it and we bring it out. So we're not just fixing. It's a little bit of everything. I want to make the store sticky. I want the customer to come in like all the time, come in your pajamas, drinking your coffee, comfortable. So that's what we're looking for, and that's the only way that you're going to gain that relationship with that local consumer. Because I'm not looking for people from all over the place, just that neighborhood. These stores can be sustained by a little neighborhood.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that. I mean, when you're looking at the market, I mean, it really almost applies to everyone today, doesn't it? I mean, on a block or 2 blocks or 3 blocks, it's a pretty, it's a large audience. And when you say, $1 billion market, absolutely. And what I like about it mostly is that there's that growth there as well. And I guess as technology changes, you're changing with the technology as well, is that you're open to, those changes, which I think is very important. We're speaking with Tony Brea, the co-founder of 1-800-FIX.com, and one of the questions we like to ask on the show, Tony, is what's been one of the most interesting things that's happened to you since launching 1-800-FIX.com? I'm sure there's hundreds of stories, but is there anything that stands out?
Aside from the toaster in this incident,
that's true. That's going to be tough to top.
That's hard to beat. That's hard to beat.
That's great.
I think it's not any one thing that's happened to us. I think it's brought us closer to the community. It really has.
That's true.
It used to be where when we were like in the beeper business, and the cell phone sales business, we would just sell something and the customer would just walk away, and
that was
they were getting something that they can get anywhere else.
Yeah.
This really forms, by us getting into the different parts of their technology life, allows us to have a more one-on-one with people, and I think that's what's that's one of the biggest things that's happened to us, is that we've, people just love to come to Fix. You call it Fix now.
Right.
They keep saying, instead of 1-800-FIX, they call it Fix.
Fix.
Which
That's
is going to be represented in our new logo.
Wow.
And it's like home for them. It's like, I tell them as they leave, this is your house. This is your house.
Right.
And they appreciate it. We have TV for them. They sit down. It's a comfortable. It's a comfortable place to come. So that closeness, I think, is the biggest thing that I've gotten from this. And I love sales. I mean, I'm not a big technology guy. I just like talking to people.
Right.
And it's brought me closer to my customer. It's made my day a lot more fun. When they come in, we talk, we chit chat, and we get what they need done, and they leave, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win. It really is.
It sounds like it's a feel-good business. You know what I mean? To be able to make money and provide a service where people are truly grateful at the same time, because it is inevitable at some point that technology, there's going to be some type of breakdown in technology in your home or your business or wherever it may be. And it's always the worst thing. When it happens, it always seems to happen at the worst time, doesn't it? So it's true. You sort of become like that lifesaver. What types of characteristics will you be looking for in your franchisees, Tony?
Well, we're looking for people that, in general, are curious about technology. Because if you're curious about technology, you'll love this business. And if you love the business, you'll do great. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But if you're the kind of person that really can't get into that basic level of it, then maybe it's not for you. I mean, my partner always elbows me, stop saying it's not for people. But you know what? We want the right people. I mean, we do nothing with getting the wrong people in here.
Right.
That's true. So I think you've got to have a basic curiosity about technology.
Okay.
If you have that, I mean, we can provide. I don't know how to fix anything. But I've learned. I mean, I've learned how to fix certain things.
Right. Through experience and everything like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what would the training be like then? I mean, once you find, Tony, that it is a match. they like you, you like them. You say, okay, this could be a good partnership. What would the training be like from that point? Do they come to your headquarters where you guys are located? How does that work?
Yeah, they come to our headquarters. We have a 6,000 square foot service center where over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, we'll train them.
Okay.
And they'll have training at the service center. They'll have training at the store level. They'll visit one of our stores. They'll work the counter. They'll get a firsthand feeling of what it is to run one of these stores.
That's great. We're speaking with Tony Brea, the co-founder of 1-800-FIX.com. And one of the questions you also like to ask on the show, Tony, is for our listeners out there, they're listening and say, this sounds interesting. I don't know a lot about this business. How do you describe, what is a typical day like for a business owner?
Well, the mornings, like in the morning, you'll come in. We normally open at 10.
Okay.
You'll come in and you'll have from 10 to 11:30. You'll have some people coming in. They'll be scattered, and then around 3-4 o'clock is when it gets busy.
Right.
Okay. Our stores are open usually from 10 to 6, 10 to 7. We're closed on Sunday. We're closed on Sundays. So, you've got to have a day off.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's tough to run the 7 days a week.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because once you do the 7 days a week, I think you lose the guy behind the counter because he can't be there 7 days a week.
Sure. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just a mixture of every day is different. Listen, I need a case. I need to connect my phone. I had a lady come into one of my stores yesterday. She was paying with one of the carriers over $100 for one phone line. And after all was said and done, we got it down to $40 on what's called an MVNO, which I'll get it, which is basically the same carrier,
right? But
prepaid. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know that.
Just don't know that. Okay.
They get into these 2-year contracts.
Yeah.
And they're saving up front, but then they're paying for it over the 2-year life of that contract. This is prepaid, and it's $40 a month, and we can get you a phone similar to what you had before. So that was one of the things we did yesterday in one of the stores. We game systems. We fixed tons of game systems, PS3s, Xboxes. Okay, your parents come in frantic when when it's their kid's DS that's not working.
Sure,
because
absolutely.
An 8-year-old is on like that auto play.
Yeah.
Daddy, my DS, Daddy, my DS, Daddy, and they're very good at that. They'll say it 100 times until you get.
Sure. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm almost
so we
there.
took the DS in yesterday. Yeah. So it's.
It is. It's something I can appreciate. That it's so true. In studying you, and your brothers. It sounds like, as you said, you come from an entrepreneurial family, and you're certainly an entrepreneur, Tony. What advice would you give to our listeners? We call them aspiring entrepreneurs. Most of them have it in their mind that they want to go into franchising, but we find that most of them don't even know where to begin. I guess there's almost 3,000 different franchise opportunities today.
Yeah.
What would you say to them from all your years of experience of being an entrepreneur?
It's a jungle out there.
It is.
You know what? It's nothing mind blowing. It's what you already know. Do what you like. Do what you like. Find something. Get those dollar figures out of your mind and focus on. If I could do anything. Close your eyes and ask yourself that. If I can do anything, what would it be? And open your eyes, and it should pop out at you because you know it already. It's in the back of your mind somewhere. You put it away because it's not sexy. It's not making the most money. But find what you like, really, because at the end of the day, you can't take it with you, and you might as well have a good time when you're doing this.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's very powerful. It's really powerful advice. Again, we've been doing this show 7 years, and I like that. It's almost like if it's a genie. If you close your eyes and just ask for anything, as far as a career or a job, what would that be? And if you can answer that question, then you're right. Then that's what you should go into, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is. It's very powerful, and I sense that from you. In talking to you, I can hear the passion in your voice, and I have a feeling if I was talking to your brothers, it would be the same thing as that enthusiasm. Which I think is, as you say, it's so important. So, what are the plans for the future? I mean, if you can look into a crystal ball, Tony, say 3 to 5 years down the road, what do you see for 1-800-FIX.com?
Well, we envision we're looking at 3 years down the road.
Yeah,
we're looking at having possibly from my projections 200 to 300 stores.
Okay.
At that point, 5 years down the road, who knows? We haven't gotten that far.
Right. Absolutely.
but I would, I think we got it at about 200 to 300, and it's so doable because as long as we can, share the word about technology is not that monster in the closet, you know, and people are really scared of it, but it's like anything else. Once you're exposed to it, you go, oh, that's all it is. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, it is.
And it's all around us. I mean, it's like, I kid around with my managers, and I tell them that, right now we're fixing phones, but we will be fixing robots.
Sure.
In one of my stores, I have a big sign that says, cell phone repair, laptop repair, game system repair, robot repair. And that gets a lot of questions. Robots. What robots do you fix?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, we fixed a few Rumbas. I don't know if you know what a Rumba is.
It keeps things interesting, though, doesn't it? For you and I guess the franchisees.
But technology, the way technology is going now, it's going to be huge. I mean, we haven't even tapped into the B2B. Once because there's so many things that we can get into with technology. Okay, like you have a lot of local small businesses that also have technology needs. Okay, that we're not addressing.
Right.
So, we have this on what I call my radar sheet, and my partners are like, not something new now. I'm like, no, it's just there. So if something else goes out, we bring this one in. We don't want to become obsolete. That's the one thing that we're not going to be. We're not going to be obsolete. We're going to always be relevant to the customer. So today it's phones, tomorrow it's robots.
Sure.
And, these cars that are coming out now, the Tesla.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That's basically a smartphone on wheels. No
it's
motor.
True, yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, you bring up a lot of good points, and it'll be nice to have that, that dual income stream, where you're focusing on the consumer and the B2B market. That is very attractive, isn't it? As far as a business model goes, when you have both, because a lot of times it's just one or the other, but to, bring that small business market into it as well, and, all these other products and services, that are out there that you guys can, fix is really quite fascinating when you look at the potential, particularly for the future.
And when you do it under one roof and you communicate this with one voice,
right?
Okay, then the consumer understands everything you do. Like if you try to do this on your own, good luck. You would have so many signs outside your store.
Sure, absolutely.
So
is where franchising comes in. You know what I mean? Is that the benefit of somebody going into 1-800-FIX.com is they don't have to make the same mistakes and capitalize on the successes of the franchise as well. Isn't that true? So I think that's fantastic. What's the best way for our listeners, Tony, to get more information on becoming a franchisee? Is there any websites you'd like them to go to? Any phone numbers you'd like them to call?
Well, yes. They could actually contact David Stein.
Okay.
He's in charge of our franchise sales.
Okay.
Okay, and I can get you that number right now. David Stein he's a really nice guy too, by the way.
Okay.
Dave Stein. Hold on, I'm sorry. Dave Stein is 718-490-2218. 718-490-2218.
Okay, and then the website it's 1-800-FIX.com. It's pretty easy, right, to get to.
1-800-FIX.com. We're working on a new site, and that's the website for now.
That's 1-800-FIX.com. And I want to thank you again, Tony. You've been a wonderful guest, and I'd really like to invite you back next year as you continue to grow. I'm going to be watching 1-800-FIX.com. I think it's a very interesting opportunity, so we'll be watching you.
You made this a very easy interview, Marty.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tony. You have a great day, and try to stay warm and be careful driving in that snow.
Will do. Thanks a lot. Take care.
It's
Bye-bye.
great to talk to you. We'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Who's helping build America one small business at a time? Franchise Inc., a free consulting service.
For years, Franchise Inc., a national company, has been helping people franchise their business concept and help folks like you own a franchise.
With over 2,500 franchise systems out there, it can be awfully confusing. Don't take chances with your future. At Franchise Inc., we've done the homework for you. We can help match your interests and background with the franchise that's right for you. And we only work with proven franchise systems with a solid reputation and track record of success.
The consultants at Franchise Inc. can help you with your short and long-term wealth strategy.
Give us a call today and we'll send you free our best-selling book, Solving the Puzzle of Owning a Franchise.
Remember, it's not just owning a franchise, but finding the right one for you. Call us at 800-961-0420 for a quick consultation to discuss what's important to you, your business, and your future.
The service is free. The book is free. What do you have to lose? Find the business that's right for you.
Call Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420. That's Franchise Inc. at 800-961-0420.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, Don and I have been hosting Franchise Interviews now all years, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on the show. Today you're going to get to hear from franchise consultant and a previous franchisee, Tom Scarda. And Tom has he actually has a bunch of wonderful quotes, but he mentions to buy based on what's good for you and not what's good for the neighborhood. I mean, how often have so many of us, we've driving and you say, God, that would be a great place for Papa John's or a Subway. And, that's not really a good reason to get into franchising, where I suspect some people do. So listen to what Tom has to say as far as his advice to prospective franchisees. I thought he did a great job. Here we go.
I think it's real interesting, Tom, in what you're doing now, and you went through the whole process yourself, so I guess that's why you're having success now with FranChoice, because you saw it, worked for yourself. Even though, the failure was not an option, I mean, you must have had, just starting up a new business. It was your first time owning a business when you start up the Maui Wowie, right?
That's correct, yes.
So what was going through your, thought process then? I guess you were just... You had some peace of mind knowing you were working with a specialist in franchising, which gave you some confidence, and starting up a business maybe wasn't as nervous to you because of that. Was the whole mindset going in, Tom?
Yeah, and it's a coincidence. I don't know if one of your former interviewees, Carol Mercurio, who I think was actually my consultant back in 2000.
Oh wow! She's great.
Yeah, she's very, very cool. She helped me out greatly in this process. And said, really, really set me up to have my mindset in the right frame of mind, I guess. And we, dove into the investigation process, but also the franchise company was very helpful. They were very forthcoming with their information, really told us what it was going to be all about, and said to us, this is not signing a franchise agreement and then becoming a millionaire. This, like a lot of people join a gym, they think just by signing the gym agreement they're going to lose weight. You got to go to the gym. You got to work with them.
She's very good in getting that information across to you. She probably taught you a few new things about yourself you didn't know because of her analysis and depth that your company goes into when you're speaking to a prospect, right?
Exactly. It was a soul-searching experience. I use that phrase every day. I experienced it myself. And now I take my candidates through that same soul-searching experience where, a lot of people say, well, I love donuts. Let me open up a donut franchise. That's just a silly thing to do. That's not a good business decision. Or somebody will say, there is no whatever in my neighborhood, so I think I should open one. And you should be buying a franchise based on what's good for you, not for the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, so maybe talk about, Tom, what types of characteristics you think make a good franchisee. I mean, you go through that whole process. You probably know pretty quickly whether someone's a pretty good match or not. But what are some of the top characteristics that make people successful?
Well, there are two very delineating points. Either you're an extrovert or an introvert. And just because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you're not a good franchisee. It just means that you may not want to be the kind of guy who's out drumming up your own business, and you might want something where it's more back office for you. So first we kind of figure that out. But you have to have a lot of self-confidence. You have to be able to know that you can be a success. And people don't realize, even if they're 30, 40, 50 years old in a corporate job, they're successful to where they're at. Right. And then they have to open up their comfort zone and get to the next level. A lot of people are afraid of that. So you have to be a little bit fearless, be willing to take a leap of faith, and know that you can do it, because you'll never find a concept that you're 100% in love with. There's always a little something missing. And I kind of use the analogy of when you're buying a house. You might find the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood, but there's probably something wrong. They might not have the right windows that you want or whatever, and you have to learn to live with it, get into it, and then fix it and work with it. Right. So you have to do that. But as far as characteristics go, it's really the yearning and the want to really make a change for your future. And not everybody's cut out to be a franchisee or a business owner. And, we do need great people running, great civil service systems or what have you. But, for me personally, I could just speak from personal experience. I was successful in transit. I moved very quickly up the line, but then realized that, when I looked at the vice president and the president of transit, they weren't living in the houses I wanted to live in or driving the cars I wanted to drive, but business owners were. So if you got that drive, you can do it. And, of course, that's not for everybody. People are sometimes fine with a very simple lifestyle, and that's great. But I think you need to have the drive, and more than that, you need to have the vision, and you need to be a goal setter. You need to know what your goals are.
That's a good point.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next week with another edition of Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.